Hello, this is Shamak Acharya, and this is my PowerPoint presentation about the coronavirus 2019 that is causing coronavirus disease 2019. This strand of coronavirus is new from all these previous ones listed below, and there are special quarantine places to treat this kind of coronavirus disease for people who have the condition. And there's going to be fear and discrimination against those who have the disease due to the people surrounding them not understanding on how the disease works and how to control the spread of this coronavirus disease. The source of the disease started in the Wuhan of Hubei province, China, and this is where a meat market, where there are no good sanitation practices, where it's almost like a factory farm but in a store. Where animals actually get brought in and slaughtered right there with no good sanitation practices, and also when the animals are close together, as in with a bat and a pangolin, the disease transfers between those two creatures as shown in the image, and then when the person consumes that animal, the pangolin, they catch the disease as a result of it, not due to good hygienic and sanitary practices, as stated from as one of the HACCP principles. And this is the area in that province of China. And this is where the source of the disease happened, in this part of China. This is not a time to yell at these people. It's time to see how you can improve the health and sanitary practice of keeping this market going while reducing the spread of disease in the process. And there's also ways to catch the disease that is already out there, and is by going and traveling to regions that have the disease. Even if we don't have to go, and getting close contact with other people who have the disease is, and because it can be transferred from person to person. And like that, coughing and even touching dirty surfaces that have been contaminated with the disease. And down here, these are the ways of how to prevent the spread of the coronavirus and other diseases. And also you need to do is call your medical professional ahead of time, just so that you don't accidentally spread the disease. And personal household items that you need to clean and wash after you use them. And people have to wear face masks for people who are sick and infected, and including health professionals who are working in this condition, not being sick technically, and there's no type of treatment available at this point for the coronavirus 2019. And this and by following these preventative measures, you can protect yourself and others from the disease. Again, this is what I had just mentioned just a few slides ago. And some people can even accidentally spread the disease without even knowing that they have the disease. And some of in that way, with all those signs, with all those examples listed in previous slides, that's what makes it as a disease that can spread very easily. And this is one to show you how to control the spread of coronavirus 2019. In here, we'll be starting with hand washing with soap and water. And then for families on how to stay safe and how to prevent and control the spread of coronavirus themselves. The same thing for teachers and how they can help to continue their students' education. And for college students who are traveling for like educational reasons or for school credit, and even sometimes for vacation. And this is a video from the World Health Organization that talks about how to wash your hands. Like this, and the video is I have all the links to this video in my resources that I can share with you at a later time. And this is the video. Yes, and this is the video that talks about how soap and water work with diseases and bacteria to destroy and remove them from our hands and fingers. While it talks about how viruses and bacteria and all those dirt particles are like nonpolar bodies that do not interact with water, which is a polar molecule. But soap, having both a polar side and a nonpolar side as well, it combines those two together, and when the water goes down the drain, it pulls the soap, and the soap pulls those particles down the drain along with it. And this is to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. First is identifying what is first is to keep yourself safe and and up and healthy. First is to identify the resources that you need to survive, and then and where you can go to get those resources. You need to make a recovery plan on how to go back to normal after the COVID-19 outbreak. And this includes examining the available resources and ways on how to take care of your sick loved ones, and how to deal with the process through by going step by step to recovery while still doing the task for school or work. And it even includes assessing the public's uh, on behavior toward the crisis. And you also need to know who are the valuable critical infrastructure personnel that can help you during this crisis, like medical professionals, first responders, teachers and school administrators, utility company staffs, mental health professionals, and including insurance, insurance people that deal with insurance finances, medical finances, and ways for families to plan. And here are the few ways that families can plan to stay safe. First is to getting to know their neighbors so that they can ask for help when they need help from their neighbors, or whenever they can give help to their neighbors when their neighbors need help. Is to identify the organizations can that can provide them with the resources that they need to survive through this crisis. And people need to come up with an emergency contact list of who to contact in case if they cannot come in contact with one another, such as their extended family members, their medical doctor, neighbor, friends, or family. And people need to practice that safety plan, emergency plan during times like a disease outbreak, as in case with COVID-19, by following these good principles while still being able to communicate with those people. Which I have covered a little bit in the previous slides. And for people, and have a separate room for people who are sick in a separate bathroom so that people don't and come in contact and contaminate themselves with the disease. And stay informed about the latest outbreaks in their local area, not from a spammer. It says and go and learn more about how to create an emergency plan from the local school or employer, and also find sources that would be helpful for dealing with this issue mentally by looking for mental health supports. And these are the things to get ready is first by having all the medical equipment needed to take care for like first aid kits, and then looking for and getting advice from others who have came up with an action plan, and to use that as a blueprint to build their own, and identify local organizations that they that can help them to provide valuable resources for their survival, as listed below. Again, as I mentioned, creating an emergency contact list, and also the room to house the sick, and insurance to get financial support for medical bills. And the ways to deal with the COVID-19 is to take advice from a medical professional like the primary care physician, and stay away from sick people, but don't isolate them. Just you can talk with them from far away. And also some of these that I've mentioned in previous slides. And you can stay in contact by way of staying 6 feet away or communicating with them by technology, like calling them or chatting with them on Skype or Facebook Messenger. And the most important is to stay informed about what is going on around you from your local news source, like your radio station or your local TV news station like WKYT. And ways to disinfect is by using soap and water to disinfect almost anything, otherwise, unless told differently by the manufacturer that produced that product. And the same thing applies for soft surfaces. And you can wash dirty laundry with other dirty laundry, but you have to wear protective gear to do the laundry so that you don't not get infected yourself. And do not shake dirty laundry to spread the disease or any other contaminant in the air or with other clothing. And you have to do is wash your hands often with soap and water based on these criteria listed below. And do not let people who are sick to prepare food for and then wash all the food preparing tools and consume preparing tools to prevent as much dirt and disease from being contaminating the food from those same utensils by wearing appropriate dishwashing equipment. And you have to do is wear gloves to take out the trash with lined trash with gloves to get that have tissues on it by people who have blown their nose or thrown up in the trash. And you have to do is come back in and wash the hands after you've taken out the trash with your gloves on. Like if you are sick, you have to stay home, otherwise to get medical attention, and then stay away from people and pets so that you don't get them sick accidentally. And then call ahead before going to the doctor for the same reason so that you don't get accidentally infect people around you when you're there in the hospital. And wear a face mask for people who are sick and caring for the sick to prevent the spread of the coronavirus disease. And the best way to do is to cover the coughs, either with tissues or doing this. And here it is washing your hands with soap and water. And then here is just talks about recapping of what I had here, but that talks about how to wash hands in previous slides. And here is it. Do not share your items that you have touched so that people do not accidentally get infected when they touch their face after they touch your items. So you have to wash your items for others to use it. And you have to do is monitor your symptoms to see if it's getting better, worse, or no change, so that you can tell your doctor later when you go to visit him digitally or in person. And for faculty is to encourage their students to stay home for students who are sick. And some of the same tactics explained for families can also be applied for teachers who who are in the who teach in the classroom. And they also have to do is document who's not here and who is here for students who have missed due to the result of a disease like the coronavirus, and teachers can talk with their bosses on ways on how to bring their education to the education of the classroom to the internet so that they can share with their students both who were sick and who were able to come into the classroom physically. In a few ways they can do is by using services like Google Classroom and Khan Academy, which they can use as a way to recap what they had covered in the classroom. And this is for college students who are traveling internationally for different reasons and coming back to the United States, and they would have to be identified if they have the disease or not. And for most of this is that students have to cancel their plans if they're going to study abroad for the study abroad program or for vacation to prevent the spread of the coronavirus or them catching it in the first place. And some of the tactics that I'd mentioned for school teachers can also be applied here for college students and college professors on ways that they can continue their education without being hindered by the coronavirus disease by utilizing different internet services to continue their education, or going to other websites to further improve their understanding of a certain topic, such as from Khan Academy that talks about anatomy and physiology, or from a YouTube channel called Crash Course that talks about a lot of the other recent topics like chemistry and physics and biology for students who have to be who can have missed most of those topics due to the disease and can catch up with that with those types of helpful resources. And this is all my references that I had used to do my research. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.